Hey everybody, welcome to Mismatch Readers Club. I am Eliza and I am sitting digitally next to Hannah.
Hello.
Hello. We're recording this in the evening, which is so very different for us, but we needed to get a recording session done and daytime hours don't work for us currently. So
It also feels nice.
It does.
Like my office at home is like pretty small, but it's like I feel nice and cozy, and it's fucking cold at the moment as well.
That honestly adds to the vibe, I think.
Yeah, I think it does. I also have my emotional support wheat bag
Always.
with me, which I'm pretty sure I had last time we recorded. Did like remotely as well.
Yes.
And I have a matcha and a soda and my water bottle.
Yeah, I have tea.
So
I
I'm
have
good.
tea and sparkling water. My office is probably nowhere near as small as yours because it is a very large.
No, your room is massive.
But it is, for all intents and purposes, mum and dad's cave.
Yes. Yeah.
But
It is big mum and dad cave.
So this is going to be an interesting one because there are some not so great updates for us.
We have to admit to our failures in this episode, which is uncomfortable, but that's okay.
I'm not all that ashamed, to be fair. But first we'll do a little bit of a reading update. So what have you been reading? How much did you read last month?
I once again had, I'll start off the admitting to our failures. Is I did get on my soapbox on our Instagram and say, here's my TBR for April and what I'm going to read. And I read fuck all of the books that I spoke about in that video.
Love that.
And that's fine. We're practicing radical acceptance. But I did read 5 books in April, which was pretty good.
You read more than I did. I read 4. And then I read 4 and then DNF'd 1.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I DNF'd. Actually, DNF'd 2. But I read... Where did my list go? Hang on. I read Paladin's Faith by T. Kingfisher, which was the last of the ones that are currently published. I read One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Honked.
Yes.
I love that freaky little bitch.
I'm so glad you like Rachel Gillig. She's such a good writer.
The freaky little bitch was the nightmare, is what I meant. Like the...
Oh, yeah.
I love that thing. Then I read She Who Remains by Renee Carabash. Destroyed enough that Emma and I went and paid $65 for a paperback of it yesterday.
That is unhinged because that book is so short.
It's because it's like we bought it from Imprints, and she was saying it's because it doesn't have an Australian publication.
Oh.
So we had to get an overseas one, and it's a small press, and the freight costs have gone up insanely, obviously, because there's a fuel crisis.
Yes.
So, yeah, it was just really expensive, but I was kind of like, I don't give a fuck. And then I read London Falling by Patrick Radden Keefe, which honked. I feel like I have a lot of...
Is that his new one?
Yeah, and I want to... Like, I read the ebook, but I do want to get the audiobook and listen to the audiobook because he narrates the audiobook.
Nice.
And then I read 14 Ways of Looking by Erin Vincent, which I immediately went out and... Did I go with you or Emma? Oh, no, I dragged Emma to Imprints for that one.
Yeah, you went and got...
What did we get when we were together?
I don't remember what you got when we were there. I was looking for The Wax Child.
I got The Last Witch on the Knock, which I think is written by Amy McDonald. I haven't started reading it yet. And I got The Witch by... I've forgotten the author's name, but it was one of the Booker long list books.
Shortlist books.
I think it's on the shortlist, yeah. So also the Booker gets announced, the winners get announced next week.
Yes, at the time of recording. Because by the time this comes out, they will be out. We'll post about it on socials anyways.
Oh, yeah. I'll be there. And I DNF'd, Jane Eyre, which we'll talk about. And I also DNF'd. Emma and I had a book club fail this month, and we were going to read We Are Green and Trembling. And I got like 40 pages in and was like, I can't finish reading this book. I can't get into this book. It feels like a slog. So we are accepting our failures, and we've picked... I have had a mental blank on the title. A Hag Tale, which is written by... I'm going to have to Google it because I can't remember who wrote it. It's a Macbeth... Sally O'Reilly wrote it. It's a Macbeth origin story.
Ooh, cool.
And it honks so far. I'm really, really enjoying it. So, yeah.
Excellent.
And I have to finish the next One Dark Window book, which is Two Twisted Crowns or something like that. I think I've read the first chapter and then I put it down and I haven't picked it back up.
It's a little bit different.
But not for any reason. It's just like I have had a lot of trouble. Like, Yeah, and it's like I've had a bit of trouble, like, focusing, so I think that, the shorter books like She Who Remains and 14 Ways of Looking have been good because they're, like, very, very short, sharp, shiny
Yeah,
books, so it's easy to read.
fair enough.
What did you read?
I read
4 is very low for
yeah,
you.
4 is very low for me. I did also go on holiday
Yeah,
for a week and
must be nice.
yeah, it wasn't really a break, let's be honest. I went on holiday with
No,
2
you do have 2
four-year-olds.
children.
Um, yeah, and so then, like, the week before that, I was getting everything organized, trying to pack and get the house clean and get things organized for, like, where my dog was going and all of that, so I didn't really get much reading done for pretty
Mm,
much, like, the last 2 weeks of the month. Like, half the month, I barely read anything, it felt like. But I read Game On by Nevessa Allen, which is the 3rd book in the Into Darkness trilogy. It's like a dark rom-com, essentially. I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would because the you're introduced to the male main character in the prior books, and he's a bit of a douchebag, and he's also a douchebag in this, but you kind of get the backstory as to how he became that way. Uh,
mm,
and, like, there's a few interesting twists. The female main character was excellent. She's a tattoo artist. She's so cool.
love.
But I really enjoyed it. We had a male main character who was bisexual and had a brat kink. Like, I was here for it.
I love that for him.
I
I
really
love
do.
that for him.
And
Yes.
then I read Starside by Alex Aster, who also wrote the Lightlark series.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Starside fucking honked.
Oh, really?
It
'Cause didn't with the Lightlark series, didn't you say it dropped off a little bit?
it did drop off a little bit. I think a few too many plot points were introduced, and it started to get a little bit too convoluted, and
Mhm.
it's had this, like, love triangle that has just gone on for far too fucking long. Like, it's 4
Oh, no,
books,
you gotta
and there's still, like, this little bit of push and pull with both of them, the male characters, and I'm like, "Just pick one.
just resolve
We
it,
know which
for
one
God's
you're gonna
sakes.
pick, just pick it."
Get it together.
Starside, on the other hand, fucking smack you in the face from, like, chapter 2. It was so fast-paced, had a similar kind of vibe to Lightlark where so Lightlark, every 100 years, the leaders of these, like, 5 sort of, I guess, countries, you could call them, all come together in an event called the Centennial, and in
Oh,
Starside, every 50 years so you've got Starside, which is, like, a land that doesn't have magic, and then Stormside, which is the land that does have magic, and there's, like, a giant, like, basically a wall between them. Every
okay.
50 years, I think it's 50 people get to cross over into Starside, and they have to make their way to, like, the land of the gods to receive, like, a portion of magic, which then they can take back and use for whatever they like. So our female
Okay.
main character makes it over there, but she's not going over there to get the magic, she's going over there to kill the gods. Uh, and it was
Okay.
just, like, no holds barred pacing from chapter 2. The male main character
That's kinda good though.
hey?
Sometimes I'm like, if you're gonna do also, if you're gonna do a big swing, like, I'm gonna go kill a god, like, let's make the pacing fast and
It
snappy
was
kind
good,
of
it was
thing.
so good.
Yeah.
The male main character, you don't actually, like, quote, unquote, "see" his face until, like, 2/3 of the way through. He wears a hood and,
Oh.
like a mask, like, kinda like the same sort of mask as like a surgical mask, how it covers from your nose down to your chin, but
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
I can't remember if it was leather or I think it's armor. I think it's a suit of armor's helmet, like the Great almost kinda mask.
Oh, yeah.
He wears that for most of the book.
Hot.
Yep. And, like, him and her actively hate each other, but they end up having to, like, work
Love.
together, and then, of course, they start to fall in love, and there's a big twist at the end that made me wanna throw my book across the room, and, like,
Yes.
it just
Yes.
fucked all the
Yes.
way through. Like, magical
Nice.
creatures, world building that was integrated into the story rather than you being, like, dumped with, like, 3 chapters of world
Oh,
building,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
which I love. Like, I'm here for world building, I'm here for explaining magic systems. Don't
Mm.
info dump it on me. Give it to me, like, as you go through the story. So, like, we
Mm.
learned about like, we got a little bit of an info dump about, like, Starside and a little bit of the history at the start when she's, like, going to this sort of event, which made sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But as she learns about Stormside is when we also learn about Stormside and, like,
That's cool.
where things are and, the magical creatures that are there and this and that and all the other. So, very well done. Loved it.
Nice.
I then did a reread of Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. It came out last year. I did a reread because the sequel came out the end of midway through April.
Okay.
Pardon me. And I read Shield of Sparrows, like, when it first came out, so I was like, "I need to refresh my brain," and it's like like a chunk of a book.
Oh, okay.
Um, excellent excellent second time round. Rise of the Starling, fucked even more somehow.
Good.
Very, very good. Really interesting twist. You get new sort of characters introduced in, and I guess their relevancy almost immediately. But
Nice.
it didn't necessarily detract from it in a way. Like,
It just, like,
I was just like, "Cool,
added,
so, like,
I
I'm
guess.
clearly gonna be right here."
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, there was a point.
Sometimes I don't mind guessing, like, the role of a character
Yeah.
or, like, what they're gonna do in the book. Like, I guess that in it wasn't our book club book, but we both did read it very close together. The original by Nell
Yeah.
Stevens. There's, like, the twist with the male main character. I guessed that really, really early on in the book, and it wasn't a disappointing reveal when it
If
happened.
anything, it's satisfying that you were right.
Very. And I'm arrogant about guessing these things because I did this. This is like a tangent, sorry.
No, no.
But Justin and I just watched all 5 seasons of Slow Horses, which was so unbelievably good.
Mm.
It was so good. And we don't really agree on TV a lot of the time. Like, we like very different things when we're watching TV. But there was, I think it must have been season 3, I think. And there was like a reveal of who one of the main characters' dad is. And he came on screen. He was on screen for probably 20 minutes. And I was like, bet you that's the end of the season. The twist is going to be that he's the dad. And Justin was like, oh, yeah, maybe. And then we got to the end and I was like, what did I say?
Knew it. Yeah,
Literally,
Dan hates
Hugo
watching
Weaving
stuff
walks
like
on
that.
screen. Hugo Weaving walked on screen as an insane American assassin. And I was like, he's the daddy.
Oh, yeah.
And I was correct.
Yeah, like, there was one point where I was like, "Is this being set in the like, am I reading this POV and it's, like, happening at the same time as this and these, like, in my main character and this other character, are they gonna, like, cross paths? Or is
Okay.
it this thing?" And I was like, "I think it's actually this thing," and then I was right.
Love that.
So, very, very good. And then obviously I also read Jane Eyre, which I DNF'd at 18%. So let's talk about that.
Should we talk about Jane Eyre? So we spun our Wheel of Plot Luck and we were going to read, what list did it
It
come off of
was,
again?
the BBC's 100 Books to Read Before You Die.
Yes. And we very confidently said like, oh yeah, we'll read that, no problem. And there was problems. Reader, you could say there was problems. And that was a cheap joke. Yeah, we started reading it. I did the audiobook because I was like, I don't think I'm just going to be able to sit down and focus on this. And I was listening to the audiobook and who never listened to audiobooks
No.
sped up, was speeding it up. And I was like, I still cannot get into this book. And I've read it. I remember that I did read it, or mostly. I think I maybe got close to the end of it when I was at uni.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't sit through it. I couldn't watch this poor, miserable, kid be more miserable
Yeah.
and more miserable and more miserable. And I know that the second half, when she's an adult, is much more entertaining when it's like Rochester or whatever, and all of the big reveal there with his like wives and stuff. But I was just not getting through it. It was not happening. So we DNF'd it.
Yeah, I was the same. She had, and I'm not going to say spoilers because this book came out a bajillion years ago.
It's not even spoilers.
No,
It's common
she
knowledge.
was like just starting to find her stride at Lowood School, and I was just like, I can't do it. Like when what's
No.
his face, Mr. Brocklehurst or whatever, stands her up and basically tears strips off of her in front of the entire school. I was like, she's a 10-year-old
Oh,
child.
yeah, prick.
What the fuck are we doing?
Prick. Yeah.
I was just like, nah, I can't do it.
They're just, nah. I liked at the beginning, I liked the whole bit with the red room and like seeing the ghost and everything like that. Like I thought that was really cool. But yeah, it was just not a book. I do really want to read
Yeah,
it again, but I was just not, I think it was like not the right time to
I
read it.
said the same thing to my friend Say. I said, like, 'cause when I said it, we did after, she went, "What do you mean? That's one of my favorite books."
So
And I
sorry.
was just like, "Look, I started reading that while I was on holiday with my children." And she's like,
It's not a
"Yeah,
kid holiday
it's
book.
probably not a holiday book." I was like, "No, it wasn't."
No, it's
But I
not
left it
actually.
for then because I was like, "We're gonna be in," because we went on a cruise, so my kids go to bed at, like, 8 o'clock. And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna be sitting in our adjoining cruise stateroom doing nothing,
Mm.
so I might as well sit and read." So I
Yeah,
was like, "Cool, I'll be
perfect
able to get
time.
through, like, a couple
But
of hours reading a night. I'll probably get through it in, like, maybe 4 days. That's fine." And
mm.
categorically did not. It didn't happen. So but instead, I finally read a book that Hannah has been asking me to read forever,
Yay!
which is The Wax Child by
Let's
Olga Raven.
fucking go. The Wax Child by Olga Raven is like my influencer book to everyone. Like I have bullied people into reading this
You
book.
really have. You've been
Yeah.
telling me for like a good year, I think, to read it.
It's so I don't actually I can't even remember when I don't think it's even been out for a year yet, actually. Not the
You
English
have
version
been
anyway.
telling me since
But
I started reading, since you read it to read
I
it.
reckon I read it in October.
Mm,
But
that sounds about right.
maybe I bought it yeah, anyway, it's been a long time.
I finally did read it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm giving it 4 4 stars. 4 stars. 4 out of 5. I think the only reason I'm not giving it 5 is because it is so far out of the realm of what I normally read.
That's fair. Yeah.
It took a little bit more to get into the style of writing, particularly because, and I don't know if it's just because it's a translation, but it took me quite a bit to see past the lack of quotation marks for speech.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that really threw me for a little bit. Once I got past it, I was just like, "Okay, cool, that's no drama." But at first I was like, "Where is the speech? What is happening?"
Well, it was funny because when I met, because like Eliza has been looking for a copy of it for
Yeah.
ages. And then I was in imprint earlier in the week and they had it there. And I messaged her and I was like, they have The Wax Child, I'll get a copy. And the person who worked there was just like, oh, it can take a little bit to get into if it's not your usual reading style. And I was like, I have read it twice. I have influenced multiple people to read it. And I'm now buying it for another person to read. So I was like, I'm good. But that was, but also like a lot of the reviews of it that I've seen are like, it takes a bit to get into the writing style. But I really did not find it a hard writing style to get into. But a lot of the books that I have read, particularly the translations, don't have the quotation marks in
Yeah.
them. So it's like it wasn't like a difficult, it was really, really easy read for
It wasn't
me.
a big step for you because you're used to reading translations and things like that. But
Yeah,
otherwise, really, really cool, like, very bizarre,
so good.
and, like, it felt like watching someone's life on a TV with the sound off in a way.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. I liked that like having that essentially like third person omniscient narrator
Yeah.
be something that was kind of like embodied was really cool, I thought. Yeah, I liked the figure of the wax child because it felt like kind of threatening. Like
Yeah.
it was like you didn't really know exactly what it could do or what power it had or if it was just a symbol of like power and stuff like that, but it was so creepy. I really want to like I kind of can't picture of what it would look like because I don't think it would really look like a baby, like a very very like detailed baby. But I would love to see an image of what, like an example image of what it looks like, and I haven't been able to find one.
Maybe at first when it was formed, but, like, they had it for years and years and
It would be so
years.
disgusting by the end of it.
Like, and
It would be
it
disgusting.
constantly talks about, like, the wax softening
Yeah.
and, like, in some of my notes, because I think when I was like, when I messaged you say, "Did they kill Elizabeth?" It was just
Mm.
after I'd read a passage about talking about like, having some of her hair and her fingernails, and I was like, "What
Mm.
the fuck?"
Yep, yeah.
Unfortunately, they did not kill Elizabeth.
No, they did not. It was I did see 2 reviews. One I've sent you already, and then the other one I saw when I was looking, while I was eating dinner. And the 2 best reviews I saw were "God forbid women have
I
hobbies."
know, honestly.
And then the other one was "Olga Raven could write Macbeth, but Shakespeare couldn't write The Wax Child,"
Fair.
which I thought was good.
That's fair.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I just thought it like I keep trying to like explain what was so good about it, but I think it was just like it was completely unexpected because I heard a lot of hype about it prior to it getting its English translation.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh, yeah, book about the witch trials and stuff like that. Like, it's an area I find really interesting. But I wasn't expecting it to be what it was. And I thought it was just like, it was like perfectly written. And it's so short and so like, you can tell that she was a poet first because it was so lyrical with the writing. And I also think like the writing is in some sections, it almost sounds like an incantation. Like, there is something kind of
Yeah, there is. There are, like,
like magical about it.
like, almost in between the, like, chapters that aren't chapters. Like, those pages
Yeah.
that are just, like, 3 lines long, and it's either, like,
Yeah.
some kind of ritual or some kind of incantation. I'm like, "Oh."
Mm.
One
I also just realized we didn't really explain what the book was, which was the book is based on a real event, which is the
Danish witch trials in the sixteen
the
hundreds. Yes. Like 1612
in
to 1621, I think they are.
yes, yeah, and it's about particularly one of the witches, which is Christens Krakow. I don't know if I pronounced that properly, but she was a Danish noblewoman and she was executed for
She was
witchcraft.
beheaded. Well, at least in the book she was beheaded.
Yeah, she was beheaded like IRL because she was a noblewoman. So they didn't burn her at the stake.
On that topic though, I think it's Elizabeth when she like walks over at the end after she's been beheaded and then the head just starts monologuing right at the very
Oh
end. I
yeah,
was like, "What?" Yeah.
mortifying,
Like,
mortifying.
horrifying,
I didn't like that.
but also kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. It was good. I think that the part of the book that was like so deeply upsetting was when they were doing the witch trials for all of the women and the daughter gave evidence
Yes.
and they were like manipulating like every single man in this book fucking sucks. Every single one of them.
Mhm.
I don't remember a good male character
I think
in
the
the
only
book.
one that would be
I
like,
mean, obviously they're written well because I hate them so
yeah,
much, but like,
maybe marginally Marin's husband, so Karen's father. Because like, he didn't
oh
actively
yeah,
do anything, but he did also just kinda sit by, but I guess what else could you do?
nothing
Yeah.
really.
He's about the only
Like,
exception to that rule.
yeah,
Everyone else, get in the
I don't
bin.
know.
I literally wrote that, like,
I
that's the second note I have here is all the men are garbage.
the notes when I also because like it's been a bit since I've read it because I got it on as an ebook, read the ebook, bought the physical copy, and then reread the physical copy. So I read it twice in 2 weeks, and then haven't read it since. Just keep talking about it. But when I was trying to remember what to write today, I just wrote hated every man in the book. Lol.
I think I wrote a couple of, like, quotes down, which I did send to you. It's like, "The woman is a wicked and imperfect animal," road,
Yeah, rude.
and, "A woman is not capable of good thoughts," and this is the one where I said, "Yeah, well, not when it concerns men, that's for
No,
sure."
clearly not.
And the phrase, I can never pronounce this right, virile, member,
Oh yeah, virile member. I don't like that term at
disgusting.
all. No, no,
If
no.
anyone
I did not like
and
that.
if anyone like, that's like the male equivalent of slick folds.
Oh, ew. I hate that. Also, I once just we might as well continue the dick chat. I once saw, I can't remember what book I was reading, but they described it as a turgid member. And I was like, we don't need to use that phrase. Eliza just spat her tea out.
I didn't, I almost did. Ew!
And I was just like, we could just probably not use that. Like, we could just, let's strike that one from the record. The quotes, not necessarily like quotes in the book, but there was the part where they're talking about the, uh, you know, it, sharp left turn from Dick Talk, but when they're talking about the actual burning of the women and they're talking about Karen watching her mum burn
Yeah.
and like watching her eyes glow and then explode because of the
Yeah,
heat
that was fucked.
was like so fucked and so visceral. And it's like, I think it's the thing is like the book is so small and it does so much for vivid
Oh,
imagery.
yeah. There are
Yeah.
some full passages that are just straight up body horror.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think it could be like it kind of reminded me when I don't think it's like a groundbreaking comparison, but it reminds me a bit of like The Witch, the Robert Eggers movie.
I haven't seen
Like
it, but I know the
that
movie you're
kind of
talking about.
imagery. I like his movies.
Yeah.
So, that was a really, really good movie, I thought.
Has that got Anya
Yeah,
Taylor-Joy in it? Yeah.
yes, it does. And the goat, as in the creature, the
Oh,
goat.
yeah, yeah. I
You
was
just
like,
gave me
"Huh?"
a really blank
I
expression.
was like, "The goat," like, who?
The goat. The goat is a very important part of that movie. But yeah, it was. I wish there was kind of like they talked a little bit more in the book about like Anna and Christine, like being lovers. Like that was something that I wanted
Anna or
explored a
Maren?
little bit. No, it was Anna. I think Christine and Marion did sleep together, but like Anna and Christine, is it Anna or Anne? I can't
There's
remember the
Anne
one at the
and
beginning.
Bill and Bill.
And yeah, at the beginning,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one
yeah.
whose
That's
babies
Anne.
kept dying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wish they had explored that a little bit more about them being lovers.
Glossed over that?
Not pick that up.
No.
It was yeah, that's what it was. It was like they were lovers and the doll was like cursing her
Oh.
essentially.
Oh, wait, no,
Yeah.
yes, sorry.
Is it definitely Anne?
I thought Anne Beale was the lady that she was helping to give birth who had, like, stillborn after stillborn after stillborn.
Yeah, it is. It
Same
is.
person, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like I did maybe
Um,
read one thing and then maybe I don't know. But yeah, I definitely got the vibe that especially with again with the daughter giving evidence where she says like Kristen's and my mother, they laid in bed together.
oh, yeah.
She lies in bed with my mother and I'm like,
Oh, yeah. Good for you, babe.
"Yeah, you do you."
Do whatever you want. Yeah. I don't think this is the most, like, intellectual deep dive in the entire world of this book, but yeah, I don't know, I just thought it was, like, an excellent book. It does so much in so little. I really wanna see the play that it like, because she originally produced it as a play called Hex,
Yes.
and if you, I swear I brought it up, but, the photos of it are not what I expected because 'cause they're, like, very modern,
Huh?
but it looks so good. Oh, do we have
I think so.
guest producers?
Hello.
Hang on, I'm putting
Are you going to bed? You gonna come say hi to Auntie Hannah? There she is.
ooh, look how cute your PJs are.
Yeah, you going to bed?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see yourself on the camera, can't you? He's looking at himself and himself only.
Yeah,
Don't
close.
touch the microphone. Oh, here comes the other one. Hang on.
Okay,
Don't touch that.
both.
Don't you touch it either.
Hey,
No.
dude.
Hands off. All right, you gonna say goodnight?
Good night.
Good night,
Night.
chickies. All right, give me a kiss. All right, go to bed. Good night. Ooh. But anyway, that was The Wax Child. I really enjoyed it. Like, I knew, like, I trusted your judgment, but because it's so far outside of the genre that I read, I wasn't sure how much I was going to enjoy it.
Mm.
And
I feel like we've been pretty successful with genre swaps.
we've done well.
Mm. We have, we have.
I think it's because we also know what we like to read, like each other likes to read. So we're
Yeah.
not going to recommend
Like,
something, like, you're not going to recommend something that's super pretentious reading unless
well, I
it's
mean, I might.
like The Wax Child could be construed as being something pretentious, but the story itself is interesting enough to like look past the really like lyrical writing.
Yeah, I think that's why I thought you would like it because I was like, I feel like you like a witchy
Oh
story,
yeah.
so I was like, you would be interested in that.
Yeah.
So I thought that that would be kind of the hook that got you into it. So I'm glad it was a success. And then you have recommended me, obviously, the Saint of Steel series. Wait, did you recommend that to me? Yes.
No, well, I don't know if I
Um,
recommended it, but I think when we were out browsing one day, I said you might like this because it's like cozier fantasy. It's a little bit,
that's right.
a little bit sort of. It's not also not like romance forward. There is romance in it, but it's not like a major plot point.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, pretty successful. So that was the deep dive, the failed Jane Eyre deep dive, and the Wax Child deep dive, which wasn't really that much of a deep dive. It was just us talking about how much we liked the book.
And that's totally fine.
But I think I do want to read her other
The
books.
employees.
I
I think that's
am
what
a
it's called.
bit like I'm a bit on the employees. Like I don't think I want to read that, but I want to read her book on motherhood, which is very interesting because I don't love books on motherhood, but I want to read her book on motherhood, which is called My Work.
Oh, okay.
And I think that that would be like I've only seen like multiple 5-star reviews of it, so I would really really like to read that one. Also has a really cool cover.
I'm
But yeah,
just
The Employees is her other one that's like I think that one is set in space. Don't quote me on that.
uh, yeah, so they're in space. The interstellar 6,000 ship, the human and humanoid crew members complain about their daily tasks. When the ship takes on a number of strange objects from the planet New Discovery, the crew becomes strangely and deeply attached to them.
Pass.
Yeah,
Probably
you're
not.
not into space
No,
anything.
I'm into space when Dale info dumps me weird stuff about space and then I have an existential crisis, but like I don't really care for spaceship books,
Fair enough.
so probably not. Before we get into listener questions, do you want to talk about the amount of books that you've just bought?
Oh, big
We've both been book buying.
at the time of recording this, Big W has a very large book sale going on. They have a lot of books half price. So I did an online order for pickup, and then there were a couple that I couldn't get online. So when I went to pick up said order, I tried to find them in store. And I came home with 20 books today.
I cannot believe that.
As that's
That's
honestly like I mean, I won't say it's the least amount of books I've purchased in one go because I went on a book buying ban for about
you're in a book buying ban for a while.
yeah, it probably lasted to at least the end of February, like partway into March, I think. And I think
Mm.
technically I bought a book, but it was a pre-order for a special edition of a book that I've read.
Doesn't count.
So I was like, that doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
But prior to that, I did do like a really big buy up of books that I was like partway through a series of. So I had like the next couple of books.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
good
I did a
idea.
pre-order of books that are coming out this year up until I think the end of June. So
Oh, yeah, nice.
like, and all up, I think I pre-ordered / bought about 40. Yeah.
Jesus.
I buy
That's
books
good.
faster than I read them. That is for sure.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
That's
That's
I mean, don't look at my
that's
bookshelves.
everyone, I think. But yes,
Yeah.
I bought 20. One
That's
of them
but good
isn't fiction. One of them is a cookbook that I like the look of. So 19 fiction books. Let's be real.
19 fiction books and 1
It was a
cookbook.
little
Well,
unhinged.
I can't talk because I have bought actually, I was thinking about it, like, I bought 5 books because Mum got me a Kobo voucher for my birthday.
Mm.
So I did buy myself 5 books, and then it was really funny because I was messaging Emma and told her what books. No, I wasn't messaging her, I was with her. I was messaging you what books I bought, and then I
Yes.
told Emma in person. And Emma was like, if I was going to describe you, like, if I wanted to describe you as a person via books, those are the books that I would give, essentially. Because I got
I love that
The
you call
Position of
them
Spoons.
pretentious and wanky to me when you sent them through to me.
When I sent them, I was like, you fucking idiot. I was like, you sound like a wanker. I got The Position of Spoons by Deborah Levy, Offences by Constance Deborah or Debris. I can't remember what her last name is. What else did I get? I got Disordered Attention, How We View Performance Art by Claire Bishop, Flaneur by Lauren Elkin, and there was another one that I can't remember. What did I get? Hold on. And also, like, earlier in the week, I went and bought your copy of The Wax Child, my copy of She Who Remains, a copy of Hag Tale, which is Emma and my book club book, and then also a copy of Hag Stone by Sinead Gleason, which I read last year and really loved. Oh, I also bought Art on My Mind by Bell Hooks. So I'll be merrily going through them.
Yes. So in other words, we both bought more books than we're probably going to read for a while. But anyway, that's fun.
And I'll buy more on the weekend because my brother also got me Dylan's voucher for my
You did
birthday.
too.
So I will be at Dylan's buying books on the weekend.
Yes, well, I'm getting a shopping spree at QBD for Mother's Day, so I will be buying more. We'll update you in a few weeks how many more we bought.
Fine. It's fine. I could be buying drugs, and
Exactly.
I'm not. I'm buying books instead.
Exactly. Now,
Exactly.
before we get to listener questions, do you have a Red
Ooh.
Rising update from Justin?
Yeah, his update was like, man of few words is my life partner. I said, where are you up to in Red Rising and how are you feeling about it? And he goes, I'm in the intro stuff of book 3. It is good.
He's where?
So he's in the intro to book 3.
Oh, he's barely read anything.
And then, but he did read Justin's review to our friends Corby and Jess, who are the people who got him to read Red Rising, was, I finished Golden Sun last night and respectfully, what the fuck is wrong with Pierce Brown?
Well, baby, you've got no idea.
He's got no idea. I fear for him when he finishes it. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll have an update.
I have it on good authority because I haven't read it yet because I'm holding off reading the second arc of the series until there's at least a release date for the final book. But I have it on authority from many other people.
Is it 3?
There are 3 currently out. There is 1 more coming. But Dark Age is apparently the worst of them as far as like tragic content. Yeah, apparently Dark Age is a rough go. So I'm like, great. Yeah.
How good.
I know. But yes,
Okay.
my advice to Justin would be to pause when he finishes Morningstar until we know that Red God is the last book, until we know when that's coming. Because no one really fucking
that's fair.
knows. Because Pierce Brown is just
no.
swanning about on social media, having the time of his life and giving no one any
he's
info.
Swanning around on social media being a DILF.
Yeah.
And
Giving away canoes.
I don't know if he's got kids.
Did you?
What?
He's like, he had a video where he's like, I have this canoe in my garage because I decided I would try canoeing and I am terrible at it and I'd never use it. So who would like it? Basically is the gist of the video. He's just sitting in a canoe in his driveway.
Good for him, honestly. I hope he's having a wonderful time.
But also he's supremely attractive. Gorgeous man.
Yeah, he's a very attractive
gorgeous man. Writes gorgeous books. Win.
I remember, because I think you said he was very attractive. And then I saw a Instagram reel short thing, and it was basically, it was like why did no one tell me that Pierce Brown is out here looking like a male model?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Honestly.
Interesting.
All right.
Compelling.
We
All right.
we have listener questions that we have pestered all of
Yay!
you for the last week.
And I would like to say that I did say to everyone, and I put on the social media as well, I was like, you can ask us questions not related to books.
Yes, doesn't have to be
if you
books.
want to. It doesn't have to be books. I think we got 2 questions not related to books.
I think they're
So
both from Dale.
they're probably both from
That's
Dale.
hilarious.
Do you want to start with?
I think we leave Corby's till the end.
Yes, we'll do Corby because Corby's is going to be.
Corby's
We're
is
going
a
to get
game.
silly with Corby's, I think. Corby. Also, I would like to. Corby's is the start of a game, so we will get to Corby's, but we'll go to the next one, which is Emma submitted 3 questions.
Yes.
So should we?
Maybe we go person by person. You can do Emma's, and then we'll go.
Yeah. Okay. So Emma's first question is, who would you love to recommend a book to? What book would it be and why?
Oh, I actually didn't read many of these questions, and now I'm actually stumped.
Yeah, no, I was like, fuck, we probably should have like done some studying for these questions.
I would love to successfully recommend a book to my partner because he is a man of very few words and less books. And I, funnily enough, think he would really like not talk more about Red Rising, but I do think he would really enjoy Red Rising as a story. He just
Yeah, it sounds like something he would like.
if Red Rising got adapted, he'd be addicted to the show, I think. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, trying to hand him a 400-page book and be like, "Here, read."
Read, enjoy.
Impossible.
Have a wonderful time.
Exactly. So that's probably the easy thing because like he has very, very severe ADHD. So him sitting down to read a book, never going to happen because it's not one of his interests. So it's not something he can hyperfixate on like, you or I could. Where, if I'm sucked into a book, I'm not
moving.
here. I'm in the world of whatever it is I'm reading. So, yeah, getting him to read is a challenge. So I tend to buy him like graphic novels. He does like graphic novels because it's basically just one big comic book, and he can read those fine. So, but I would love for him to read Red Rising. Like if they did Pierce Brown bring out a graphic novel version of Red Rising, please.
Or where is the TV adaptation?
Yes, I do think it is getting adapted.
Surely.
I think it's being picked up, or at least I've seen rumors about it.
Surely it would be.
I just don't know by who, and I don't know who I want to adapt it. Because Apple TV has got the rights for the Cosmere.
What's that?
Brandon Sanderson, like Mistborn, Stormlight Archive.
Interesting.
They're starting with Stormlight Archive, at least is what I've been told. So, yes, very interesting. I'm intrigued. I read none of the Cosmere, but I do plan on it.
My brother has told me for years that I need to read Mistborn on Stormlight Archive and stuff like that. And I have some of the Stormlight Archive books, and I will not be reading them.
I will get to them. I have the first 3 books.
I'll get to them eventually.
I have the first Mistborn trilogies.
I'm not sure who I'd love to recommend a book to. I would love the opportunity to recommend a book to, like, maybe one of... Oh, actually, I would like to... My old poetry teacher at uni, who is an author, she's published lots and lots of books. Her name's Jill Jones. I would love to recommend a book to her, but I'm not sure what book I would recommend. Yeah, I'm not sure what book I would recommend to her. She's just... Like, she was, it was the very stereotypical, like, you have the teacher that, like, changes your life type of thing. And that was what she was like for me. Yeah, I don't, also, like, an alarmingly, like, successful, like, Justin and I were in a class of hers together, and that was the class we were in when we started dating. And then every other person who attended that class has coupled up with someone else in that class, and they are all still together.
Is she Cupid?
No.
Are you sure?
I don't know. It was just like a lot. I bump into her occasionally, and she's always like, "Is everyone still together?" And I was like, "Yeah, pretty much."
That's funny.
Which is, yeah, very, very funny. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have a very good answer to that question. I was going to say because I've now successfully recommended books to you.
Yes.
Recommended books to Emma all of the time, and also other Emma who I work with, and then have successfully once recommended a book to Justin, which was thrilling for me.
The one and only time it'll happen.
Well, we talked about what he likes to read a couple episodes ago, but I recommended him, which is probably a book that I would recommend to everyone, is They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us by Hanif Abdurraqib.
Yes.
Which is essays, so it was very, like, easy to read. and he really liked that book.
Ooh,
So that was good.
excellent. All right, next question.
Next question is, who do you think is a really misunderstood book character? We're both Are you going to say Kale from what's that series called?
Throne of Glass. It crossed my
Yeah.
mind. Did I think he's just polarizing because I think it comes down to whether people can look past his actions and like his actions in the earlier books.
Mm.
Some people can't see the growth because they can't see past what like how he acted and how he behaved and the fact that he was a grumpy cunt for a couple of books there. So, and that's reading. Everyone
Yeah,
has their own
truly.
opinions. You know, some people will adamantly say that anyone that likes Kale is wrong, and some people like me that will say if you hate Kale by the end of the book, you're also wrong. God, that's really hard.
Um,
Emma, that's
I don't
rude.
know. Some of them are really obvious because like it's revealed why they're misunderstood at the end. But like the Darkling, I think
From
in
Shadow
the
and Bone. I've actually not read those books.
they're good. They're pretty good. I like them. I like the Six of Crows books more. I also actually, speaking of that, like Six of Crows, like I think Kaz in Six of Crows can sometimes be like not like it is mentioned a lot. Like it does come up a lot in his character, but I think he also like people. It's weird because it's like people will acknowledge the part of him, but then they'll kind of strip it away and just be like, oh, he's just like a ruthless like. Well, I think people forget that they're teenagers, but like a ruthless like crime boss,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, like he is like that because of, he didn't really have a choice it was like become ruthless or die essentially.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes in characterizations about that, it's like they almost like sometimes in like, I guess like particularly in like online spaces and stuff like that, people kind of strip that away from him and just go, oh no, he's just like ruthless and he doesn't have feelings for anyone. He doesn't care about anyone except Inez. And it's like, no, the whole book series is about him and the lengths he'll go to save like his friends.
Yeah.
That's just off the top of the dome. I actually haven't read those books for years, but that's all I could think of.
Yeah. That's a surprisingly hard question. And I don't know whether it's just because I've read so many different things and my brain is just like shuffling so fast through the things I've read that I'm like, I'm not like, I know that there are characters that I've read that I know are grossly misunderstood.
Mm.
But at the same time, like another kind of obvious one is like people say Nesta from the Akatar series. She's got a whole book.
Is she the sister?
She's one of the sisters, yeah. So, Court of
Yeah.
Silver Flames is her book, and she and I can see both sides, but I ironically also kind of see like, she's the older sister, she had to grow up first, she had, their mother pass, and she had become the older sister, and then her and Elaine, and their other sister Elaine, forcibly turned into fae. Like, against their will, like, they don't choose it, and she's then really resentful of that and then starts, partying, taking whatever, like, drugs are available, sleeping around, reacting badly, like trauma response, which I can understand. However, she also treats everyone around her that's trying to help her like absolute shit.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, like, your trauma is not is not an excuse for being an absolute cunt to everybody. It's just not.
Yeah. I think I read up to in the ACTA books, I think I got up to the bit where they were like meeting with the other Fae people about like the book or something like that. It was like the second one.
Yeah.
I didn't finish the second book, but it was like they were meeting at Feyre's childhood home, I
Yeah.
think. And Nesta was essentially like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, and, like, this is the thing, right, is
And I was like, thank God someone's talking sense.
but at the same time, like, so when their mother died and I think their father disappeared, like,
Mm.
not to, like, demonize or defend anyone, Nesta and Elaine did shit all to keep food on the table. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Feyre was the one that went out hunting, you know, catching, killing deer, skinning them, taking them and selling the pelts, selling some of the meat to make money so that Nesta and Elaine could have their nice dresses and have this and have that and
Mm.
live their, like, little lives the way they wanted to. And Feyre is the youngest of the 3.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? I thought Elaine was the
I
youngest.
did too, but I see both, but I think Feyre is technically the youngest.
Oh.
She's either the middle child or the youngest, but either way, she's the one that had to go out and do everything to, keep everyone
Mm.
alive. after their mother died and after I don't know if it's that their father disappeared or he just kind of became a shell of himself and didn't do anything. So
I think he became a
I think he
oh,
became
I don't know.
it's been a
I'm
while
not
since I
even gonna
read them.
try and say what I think it
Um,
is because it's been years.
yeah, and so, like, I feel as though it's like a tiny little bit rich of Nesta to be like, "Oh, well, I resent you for this and I resent you for that," and Feyre's over here like, "Yeah, cool, I kept you alive for, like, the last 10 years."
Yeah, yeah.
Like, don't come at me when I'm trying to help you because you've clearly got a problem and you've clearly got trauma that we're trying to help with, you know? Like, she's
Who does
drinking herself to the point of blackout and sleeping with men and Faye that she's met that evening, like, putting herself in actively dangerous situations.
who amongst us in this recording hasn't done
We've all
that?
done it. But, like, she's only trying to help and is, being told she's interfering, she's this, she's that, and, like, I can
Mm,
understand Nesta's trauma, but I cannot and will not condone her behavior. So I think she's misunderstood, but I am in the position of I understand, but I still don't like the way
but
she
she's still
behaved.
wrong. Yeah, yeah. I get that. I get that. Also, who does she end up with?
Cassian.
Yep, 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 yep.
So,
That makes sense.
anyway, that's the best answer I think I can give, and I've talked about that at length just then, so let's move on.
Emma's third question is if you could have a new book from an author right this second, which author would it be?
Rachel Gillig, I need The Knave and the Moon yesterday. Or Alex Astor, I need Stormside now, or there's several. There are 4 books that
I'm
I would sell a limb to get the next book.
which is
The name
the
so
Rachel Gillig, the
Ra
Alex
Rachel
Astor.
Gillig, Alex Astor, Autumn Woods because I read Nightshade and the ending was absolutely fucking diabolical, and then, of course, Stacey McEwen. They are my
Oh,
4.
yes. I would actually, one of the authors I'll say is like, I do want another Hanif Abdurraqib book, but his next book is coming out this
Yeah.
year. Or this year or early next year. It's a book of poetry, which I'm excited about. Probably Olivier Lang. Like anything that they write, I'm like, I want to read it immediately. I just always want them to be
Yeah.
writing books so I can keep reading it. And I want Lauren Elkin to do another book on art. She wrote Art Monsters, which I think if I was going to get you to read a book, now I've gotten you to read Litfic. I think my next book that I'm going to try and get you to read is like art theory or like art history book type of thing. I think you would probably like Art Monsters. It's a very, very easy read.
Yeah.
But I really want her to do another book on art. She's got a new book coming out at the end of this month, actually, and it's called Vocal Break, and it's about like female vocalists.
Yeah.
So that will be good, but I would like an art focused one. But yeah, do you want to do the next questions?
So Jess has sent 2 questions in. First one is, what character in a book would you most want to be? I'll let you answer it first.
I'm glad this isn't. Fuck off.
I answered all the ones you said first, so
That's true. That is a tough question. I wouldn't mind being. I think it would be interesting. I wouldn't want to always do it, but I wouldn't mind being a diviner from The Night
really?
and the Moth. Yeah, I think it's like in kind of a brief tangent into being it. I don't think I would want to stay it forever. I don't want it to be my career path, but I'd like to
You'd
investigate.
like to experience being a diviner for a period of time?
I'd like to experience. And then I reckon I would like to be one of the sisters in the second book of the Saint of Steel
Okay.
series. And I can't remember. Sisters of Saint Ursa. And they are like shapeshifters.
Okay, cool.
So in this case, this group can turn into bears.
Ah, that's cool.
And I thought that was cool. It's kind of like, it's essentially like a wild shape or like similar to the idea of like a wild shape druid.
Yeah.
I reckon that would be fun.
Hey,
Or a paladin. I'm not fussy.
I am
What would you be?
like, so many books I read are just, like, straight fae, and I'm like, "That would be cool," but I would like to experience part of being at, like, Basgiath, like, 4th Wing, like, at the academy and, like, being a dragon rider
Oh, yeah, that
without,
would be
like,
fun.
all of the, like, unnecessarily, like, drama and war and things brewing.
And the evil.
The venom.
No, not the like the fucked up obstacle course.
Oh, the gauntlet.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
thanks.
it can pass on that. Like, I'll happily do, like, combat
I'll
training,
be dying
drag
on the
riding,
gauntlet.
all of that stuff, like, all of the school stuff.
Mm.
Like, I think not necessarily like a character, but I think I would love to be in like, and this probably stems from reading what we read in school, like when we were younger, but being at like some
Mm.
kind of like magical school or academy.
Yeah, that would
Like
be cool.
being any kind of like magic water, whether it's like elemental magic or whatever, and then being at some kind of like university, academy, whatever. Because I've read a lot of different books where it's like in kind of an academy setting. But yeah, so like no set character, I think. Like, really, I think if I was gonna set, like, a character, it would purely be based on who the love interest is.
Yeah, yep, definitely.
But yeah, that's probably the best that I think I can get.
Actually, I just thought of another one. I would wanna be specifically from the Raven Cycle books, Persephone
Okay.
in those books because she, like, reads tarot and she's like her third eye is wide open.
Clary and the
She be
Shadowhunters
seeing
universe would be cool because, you know, Jace and
oh, that
but
would be
also the Shadowhunters universe is just really cool.
it is a cool
Like, I
universe,
like
yeah.
that it's, like, it's urban fantasy, so it's like a little real world, but there's, like, all kinds of really cool, like, lore and stuff there.
Mm.
So
Now I'm rolling with it now. I've sort of a little bit, but also like a dream thief, like which is also from the Raven Cycle. Like Ronan, this isn't spoilers. The book's been out for ages. Ronan in it is like a dream thief, so he can go into his dreams, and then like if he focuses enough, he can pull something out of
Oh.
the dream, which then becomes like when they do the next. It's not the Raven Cycle, but it's like his spin off series. It's then revealed that like his dad is a dream thief and his mum is a dream.
Oh.
And then it then comes out like Ronan has a older brother who like isn't a dream thief. Ronan is a dream thief, and then Ronan's little brother is a dream that Ronan pulled out.
Whoa. That's
So
cool.
yeah, it's just a cool like it was. I wasn't expecting it when I read the books, and I was like, "This is fucking sick."
Yeah.
So yeah,
Alright,
that would
I
be one
think
of
we've
them.
answered that question as in depth as we probably could. Also,
Oh
we've
yeah,
been recording for an hour already. Brace yourselves,
yeah.
everyone, this is gonna be a long one. Second question.
I think we've just accepted. We need to accept the fact we're going to do long
Yeah,
episodes.
absolutely.
We do love to talk.
If you had a book about your life, what would be the genre/title?
Look, probably lit fic. I did a creative writing and art history degree. It would probably be lit fic. I don't know what I would call it. I don't know, unreliable narrator or something
I'm going
like
to
that.
plead the fifth a little bit on this one and refrain from no, and I'm going to try and give context without giving everything away. I'm going to refrain from answering because of some of the events in my life do not lean well into any kind of story.
No.
And you know exactly the sort of genre that
Oh,
my
yeah.
kind of book would end up being, and it's
Yes. Not a cheery
no, it's
genre.
not a cheery story. So, like, regardless of whether it was fiction or nonfiction, it's not a fucking cheery story.
No, it's really not.
So,
What would I title a book about my life? Which probably also wouldn't be a cheery story, but like, you know.
she didn't I mean, I have no idea. I'm not like I'm not
I'm not
overtly
good with
creative with
titles.
titles and things like that. Like, I do well enough for the podcast, but, like, coming up with the title of something like that, nah,
Nah,
I don't know.
absolutely not. All right, well, we'll move to the next question. Haley, which is my sister-in-law, says, "What are your creative goals this year, reading or otherwise?"
Well, I mean, we've talked a little bit about reading goals for the year.
Mm.
I am loosely attempting to get to 100 books again. I'm at 35, almost 36 so far, so I'm doing
Jesus.
okay, but, like, given I read 4 in and I don't count my DNFs, like, if I DNF a book, it doesn't
Oh,
count.
I don't count my DNFs because I haven't
You
finished
just
it.
didn't finish the book, especially not when I read, like I think if I read, like, 80% DNF'd, then I would probably still count it, but, I mean, I'm not reading a book to 80% and DNFing it.
No, I'm reading a book to 10 pages and going, "I don't like this," and then getting rid of it. Goodbye.
So that's kind of my loose like reading goal. Our other creative goals, obviously, this is probably one of our biggest creative endeavors this year for both of us.
Yeah, definitely.
We would like to, well, I say we, at least we've had conversations about it, so I say we collectively would like
The royal we.
hey,
The
the
royal
royal
we.
we. I think we said, because we did talk about it, we would like to get to like an average of like 100 listeners, like an audience size of about 100 people by the end of the year.
Yeah. I would like to remember to post regularly on the
Yeah.
social media by the end of the
I
year.
have posted barely anything on the TikTok account, but it's kind of 50-50. I think if once the Instagram gets big enough, then we can probably port through as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also would like to start doing some independent stuff through our Patreon. We do have a Patreon. It is currently free and there is not really any bonus content at the moment. It's just, it's an extra place that you can find the episodes at this point. But I think,
Yeah, if you don't use like Apple or Spotify, you can use the
yeah.
Patreon.
Or you can contact us directly and we can send you the link to the RSS feed and you can use whatever podcast app you choose.
That is
Yeah.
true. That is true.
So I would like to start maybe getting some stuff in there, whether we still do it just as a free option, like somewhere to get bonus content, or whether we maybe use a paid tier. I don't anticipate us getting a paid tier by the end of this year because we are a very small podcast.
Yeah.
But, you know, I would like to start getting some content potentially through there. There is obviously that one big thing in August that we're planning that will be done through Patreon.
Yes. I was just like, what are
I
we
was
doing in
like,
August?
I'll
And
let
then I
your brain
remembered.
tick for a second.
Just
That will be done through Patreon, so stay tuned for that
Yes.
announcement.
Secret.
Other than that, I have obviously my own book account on TikTok, and I, in theory, would love to get to 2,000 followers by the end of the year, but, you know, we'll see.
That'd be good.
I
That
pre-recorded
would
a
be good.
bunch of stuff for when I went on holiday and then posted none of it, so, you know.
Well, now you just have a stockpile of stuff
I do. I
to
have a
post.
bunch of drafts that I can use
Yeah.
kind of whenever. What about yourself?
My reading goals were, I set myself very reasonable ones, which was 25 books. And I've read 17. So I think I'm
Wow.
on track to go over,
Yes.
which is good. So I'm happy about that. And then I think like creative goals, I would love to write again because I have not written anything creatively in a very, very long time. And then I would also love to finish a fucking knitting project.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
have to get it together. I told my manager, because I was knitting in our team meetings, that I would have a sweater, the sweater that I was knitting, done by my birthday.
Yeah.
My birthday is in 2 days and it does not have sleeves.
Excellent. Love that.
So, and then I've got a couple of little bits and pieces for some friends who are having kids that I have not, like there's like 2 rows.
Does having another child count as a
And
creative
nothing.
endeavor?
You're making something.
Yeah, I'm creating something.
Yeah, exactly. Also, you probably want to clarify that you're not currently pregnant.
I'm not currently pregnant, but we are going to
No.
start trying because I'll probably cut this out, but if not, we got the all clear from genetics to go again. With some caveats, like they recommend we get extra testing if I get pregnant and all that nonsense. But yes, there is nothing in either of our genetics that indicate that things that have happened in the past may happen again. 1% or less chance. So,
Oh, fuck, that's
yeah.
good.
Anyway,
Well,
I'm probably
that
going to leave
meme
that in
that
because that was
you
very vague.
that was very vague. That meme that you sent me today where it was just like when you have a baby and your best friend comes over and it's like them, like me kicking you out of the way so that I can see the baby. That's me.
Yeah, because
I don't want my own, but I will be co-parent yours.
yeah, you'll absolutely want all of the, like, the baby will be your priority because you can give it back.
100%. I'll go, oh, you're crying. Oh, no.
Oh no, mum.
Bye. Sorry about that.
Okay, any
Anyway.
other creative goals?
I'll probably get better at like lino cutting. Like I've done a couple recently. I did some for Emma for her birthday. I did one for my dad. And I just want to get better at that and also get to the point where I'm like, have a bit better control with it and I stop sticking a lino tool through my palm.
Yeah, probably that might be a good idea. That's a good goal to have.
And then not really creative, but like another goal is, I guess, creative because it's like creative thinking. But like Justin has gotten into bouldering and I've been bouldering more. So I would like to get to doing like more complicated boulders.
Yeah.
And also stop getting to the point where I'm like halfway up the wall and freak out and go, I've got to get down.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would work.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think those are my goals.
Next up, Maddie sent us 2, and I do realize that I typed it wrong. I typed
Oh, did you?
Maddie's name.
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
thought
sure I typed Maddie's name wrong. I think I put Y in.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
I'm sorry, Maddie.
And I was like, I'm fixing that.
Yeah, because I was like, hang on, I don't think that's how I typed it when I put it in. Are there characters from two, and she didn't put this in there, but I'm assuming she means two different books that you think would make a
Yeah.
good couple slash friends slash enemies?
Sybil from The Knight and the Moth. Oh, that's probably not fair because it's the same author, but I was going to say Sybil from The Knight and the Moth and then
Elspeth?
Elspeth.
Yeah.
I think they would be a good pair.
I do think they'd be a good pair.
Yeah, I think they would be. And I think that Rory and Raven would kick the shit out of each other.
Yeah, but it would be over like who's the better emo boy.
Yeah. And I'd watch.
Same. And then you'd have Elm
Uh,
sitting in the background just being like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Elm, that's the one I was thinking
Yeah.
of. And what's the girl character's name? Jasper? Is it
In
Jasper?
The Night and the Moth? Not Night and the Moth.
No, in
Two Twisted Crowns.
One Dark Window.
Elspeth's sister?
No, I think it's Raven's sister.
Oh, yeah. It's
Or
like
his
it's
cousin?
Jesper or something like that. I don't quite remember. I read those books like well over a year ago.
Yeah. Her and Maud would be a good double act, but they're pretty similar, I think.
Stabby.
Stabby ladies. I like that.
I think that so Xaden from Fourth Wing and Carrion Swift from Quicksilver Brimstone. Carrion he's a little bit like, he's kind of like Redoc from Fourth Wing, where he's like kind of the comedic relief, like he's always cracking jokes and all of that sort of stuff. I think they would hate each other at first, but like then I think Xaden would kind of start to tolerate his comedy because he would come, like Carrion would come in and would be all like smooth and charming and funny to Violet, and Xaden would be like, get the fuck away from my woman, and like kick the shit out of him. And then they would like have a boys' night or like go on some sort of excursion, and he'd be like, actually, no, I think you're okay. I think you're all right. Just stay the fuck away from my girlfriend.
I'm trying to think who would be other good characters, actually. I think because I've read so much like fantasy stuff recently, like
That's what's at the
all
forefront.
that's coming to mind.
And I think like not to like dim down like non-fantasy, like contemporary characters, but like I feel like fantasy characters, like their emotions and their actions and stuff are much more like heightened because of the world.
Yeah.
Like personality traits seem so much more magnified in a way
Yeah.
because they've
I'm
all
trying
got
to-
fucking daggers
Yeah. They love to throw knives and shit.
or magic or something. So, you know, it's usually stab first, talk later.
I'm trying to think enemies, though. Like enemies would be a hard.
I think just about every character I've ever read would hate Lionel Acrux from Zodiac Academy because he's the most garbage.
His name is garbage.
Yeah. He is absolutely garbage.
Yuck. Okay.
Dragon
that guy.
shifter with a micro penis that's just, I don't remember if he actually has a micro penis, but I'm just saying that. Like he's just foul. Like he has
Yuck.
absolutely zero redeemable qualities. Like, you know how some villains you can kind of see like a bit of a logic there? No, he's just straight up garbage. He just wants all the power for himself all the time.
I've just sort of, sorry, like
Brainwave.
he sounds like a shit dude. I just had such brainwave, third eye open. I reckon it would be, this is very specific, Elizabeth from Autumn by Ali Smith.
Okay.
And Wolver from Hagtail, which is the book that I'm currently reading. Wolver's like a feral little wolf child that has now been adopted by like the three crones from Macbeth, essentially. Yeah. And I think it would be like, they're obviously very different because one's like a feral wolf child and the other one's like a woman with an art history degree. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. And I think that they would be like a good pairing. I think they would be very good.
Right. I like it. Okay. What books have defined different stages in your lives?
Ooh. I think The Book Thief really defined my like late teen, early 20s. I think like I read it so many times and I read it like my granddad and I would reread it every year together.
Yeah.
So I think that like that would probably be a big one. Also probably like the Raven Cycle books. Like I met my friend Emily through those books just because we were both like very much the same as how you and I met because we were talking about the main on Tumblr. Like I was talking about the Raven Cycle on Instagram, I think. Yeah. And we like became friends because of that. Yeah. So
this is a hard one to talk about as well because we're doing an episode on almost exactly this. I think.
Oh yes.
I think that's the next episode we record. So I'm hesitant to go too deep into this question.
Yeah, maybe Maddie put a pin in it and Maddie's looked into the future and seen what we're
I
doing with the
know.
podcast. So we will. Well, have my answers there, and then we'll
Yeah.
go in depth in the next
I
episode,
will say, like,
and we'll dedicate the episode to Maddie.
thrillers, like, started reading a lot of James Patterson in high school, like,
Mhm.
all of his, like, crime thriller novels, and that was a huge influence on me really enjoying thrillers. Are you good?
No, I just like chugged the bottom of my matcha, and all of the powder had sat to the had gone to the bottom, so that was like
Sick.
disgusting texture.
But yes, Maddie, we're gonna put a pin in that one, and you will get your own special dedication episode. You're welcome.
Oh yeah, super, super. Um, actually, that reminds me, Henry, which is Betty's husband, did not like submit this as a question, but he put it in our group chat. And his citizenship ceremony is at the end of the month, so he will become an Australian citizen.
Great.
And you can swear on a book. And we were talking about what do we think is the most Australian book possible to swear on?
Possum Magic.
No, we think it's the Women's Weekly book of birthday cakes.
Okay, yeah, fair. I have a copy.
You know,
I have a
the ones
copy to
that
loan if he wants it.
we have a copy because they reprinted it like last year. And we bought it, and like the cakes are probably okay to veganize, but we bought it purely just for nostalgia because like my mum is an incredible baker, and she used to make like when you got all the cousins involved, there was birthdays constantly in my family, and especially in January there was like 4.
Ooh.
She would make us all these elaborate cakes.
Love that.
Every single year, whichever we wanted.
Has she made every single cake in the book is the question.
I think so.
Oh.
Like she did them. I went through a period for probably like 4 years where I just wanted a Dolly Varden cake. Like the one, it's basically just like an upside down like sponge cake that you put a doll in the top and like you decorate it as like an elaborate skirt. And then for my 5th birthday, I had the one that looked like a ballet stage.
Nice.
Which really they're just like simple sponge cakes that are just like decorated well.
Yeah, it's just a sponge cake that's like cut up and arranged and.
Yeah, but mum, bloody hell, mum makes a good sponge cake. Wish I wasn't vegan.
Just out yourself. If only your body could
out
handle
myself
dairy.
as a vegan.
No, out yourself by saying, I wish I wasn't.
I wish I wasn't a vegan.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes, sometimes a bitch is tempted by a block of dairy milk.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Or halloumi.
Fuck off.
That is funny though. But yeah, my petition for like the most Australian book would be The Possum Magic or Wombat Stew. Did you ever read that book?
No, I read Possum Magic.
Yeah, everyone's read Possum Magic.
Or topical, Go the Fuck to Sleep by Mem Fox.
Yeah. I recently bought my boys, and like they won't read it until probably they're older and reading themselves because like they can get fucked if they think I'm reading it. But did you ever have the the Gumnut Babies books like Snugglepot and Cuddle Pie?
Yeah.
I had those too, and I have a like compendium of some of them that I got for the boys for Christmas last year. And they keep wanting me to read them, and I'm like, bitch, these stories are like 50 pages long. This is not a
We have old copies that I think my grandmother had when she was a kid. Like really, really old, like falling apart ones. But yeah, they're so
My
cute.
mum, tragically, because when I was doing research for the childhood books episode that's coming, I read so much Enid Blyton stuff as a kid because my mum had crap tons of it. And she doesn't have them anymore. She's like, I've searched for them. And I was like, I am deeply, deeply upset by the fact that you no longer have those in your possession.
I think my mum still
And now
has
I'm like,
hers.
well, now I know what I'm going to be hunting for every time I walk into a secondhand bookstore.
Yeah, definitely.
Old copies of Enid Blyton books. Anyway, moving on.
Brooke said, how do you get over the hump of reading a new style or genre?
She did. So I put this one in. She did have more under the question. But basically,
because she's reading Cersei at the moment, I
Yes.
think. Yeah.
And yeah, she was just saying that she struggles to like jump into a new genre. I don't really have this issue because I use jumping genres as palette cleansers. Like,
Yeah, same.
I read mostly fantasy, so I will throw in a contemporary romance or a couple of thrillers or like a literary fiction, contemporary fiction, historical fiction, whatever, as a palette cleanser for my fantasy because I'm getting burnt out on fantasy. So I don't find changing genres to be too difficult. As far as maybe like reading a new genre, like if you haven't read anything before, so say for me reading The Wax Child, I think you just kind of have to keep going. Do it on audio if you can, like if they have the audiobook, and particularly if they've got like a good narrator.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably a good way to engross yourself a little bit more, and don't just sit and listen to it. I find if I just sit and listen to a book, I get distracted.
Yeah, I put a book on when I'm, like, pottering around the
Yeah,
house or something.
exactly.
Yeah.
That would probably be my best tip. But
I don't
don't
really.
suffer through it if you don't like it
Oh,
also.
yeah, if you don't like, if you're, like, can't get into it, then you can't get into it, just put it down. Look what we did with Jane
Mm,
Eyre. Uh, yeah, I don't know, I read I rapidly change genres, like, like, last month it was, like, a fantasy book, and then it was a true crime book, and then it was, like, a book on, like, a prose poetry book and a lit fic book. So, like, I just flick through them really, really easily. There was a period a couple of years ago where, like, I read so many, like, women in crisis in their 20s lit fic books
yeah,
that I was like, if I read another one of these books, I'm going to shoot someone. Whatever, like, don't take that seriously. So I read a lot of nonfiction. Like, I'm finding if I'm kind of getting, like, stuck, I'll just go to
yeah.
nonfiction, and I find that to be a bit easier.
So, yeah,
But also sometimes I just accept the slump.
yeah, it's hard when you're starting to read a new genre that you haven't read. Like, even within the fantasy realm, like, some of the high fantasy stuff I've read is a lot
Mm,
harder to get into because the
yeah.
pacing's usually a bit slower. It's usually a bit denser as far as, like, info dumping, whereas a lot of, like, you could call like low fantasy, like fantasy romance, just sort of much more palatable, accessible fantasy books are
Mm,
a bit more plot forward.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like particularly with a lot of, like, very heavy high fantasy, especially stuff that has been, like, say, the Cosmere, for instance, where those books have been published since, like, the 90s. So those early
I think so?
ones,
Yeah.
like, books that have been, like, series that have gone on for a long time, The Wheel of Time is probably a good example for you. Like, the first
I
book
was
of that was
thinking The
published
Wheel
in,
of
like, what,
Time.
the '80s, '70s, '80s?
I actually don't
But
know.
those kinds of books tended to just be a bit more like info dump, info dump, info dump. Whereas I think now authors are trying to integrate world building within a plot rather than just being like, here's 4 chapters on the history of the world we're in.
Although I think, like, agree with what you're saying, but I think The Wheel of Time, at least for me,
It
I
might not
find it
be the
not
right
to be an
example.
info dump. Like, I think that's pretty good with. I mean, like, I'm still only on the first book, and I'll be on the first book probably for the foreseeable future. But it's I've got leave in June. I'll try and read it then. It has really integrated the world building
Mm.
really, really well, and the history parts of it really well, which I really like. It was published on January 15th, 1990.
Really? I thought they were published earlier than that.
Yes. Nope.
I think it's just because I'm,
Um,
like, picturing the way the old covers look, and they just feel like they were
they are.
published sooner than that, like, earlier than that.
Yeah, they are so. I actually really like the old covers. I wouldn't mind
Oh,
getting
I think they're fun.
if I get physical copies, I really wouldn't
But,
mind that. I think it would be good.
yeah, I think I hate to say it, Brooke, I love you, but sometimes you just kinda have to suffer through it, but
I was gonna say we're offering useless advice to her for this.
yeah, when you're struggling, I think it's hard, if you're struggling to the point where you don't wanna pick up the book, then just stop, you
Yeah.
know? But if it's, like, little things where maybe the writing style isn't, like, gelling super well with, like, reading a physical or an ebook, switch to audio. So, you might fare better listening to the story versus trying to read it. Just yeah, things
Yeah.
like that, I think.
Yeah. I
But that
agree.
is that is the best advice I can give, unfortunately, because I am thankful that I don't tend to have an issue switching genres.
And also I guess the other thing as well is, like, if you're trying a book in a new genre and you're finding that book to be kind of hard for you to read, if you're, say, like, enjoying the genre, just explore the genre a little bit more and see if there's another book that could maybe, like, hook you in and
Yeah, something a bit
get
more
it easier.
accessible.
Like, I didn't really it took me a bit to get into lit fic, and then everyone was like, so many people I know were like, "Oh, you should read it, you should read it, you would really enjoy it." And I just ended up picking, like, classic fucking lit fic book, up one of the Sally Rooney books, and I was like, "Oh," and that was it. I was, like,
Yeah,
away, ready to go, like, kind of found my niche with, like, Irish, lit fic, and I was like, "Yep, I'm all good to go now," and it just took a little bit.
yeah. Sometimes you gotta
Yeah.
try a few different books within the genre to find your stride. Sadly,
Mm.
genres have niches and subgenres within genres, and it makes things very difficult. Okay, so Justin's question. I love that also says, Eliza, you cannot escape this. That's fine. I have a book. I have a book. It's gonna come as no surprise to anyone, like, no surprise the genre of the book. The question is, what is a nonfiction or scholarly book that you would recommend to anyone and everyone, and why? And I am not allowed to escape the question. So, Hannah, what's your
He
recommendation?
said you're allowed to say the dictionary if you want to.
Oh, no.
The book that I would recommend to everyone, scholarly book, is Powers of Horror by Julia Kristeva. She is a French philosopher, scholar,
Mhm.
and I found this book when I was at uni, got talked about a lot, got published in 1980, and bitch, I referenced it in fucking everything, and I will reference it constantly. I haven't had my copy for about 4 years because I lent it to my friend Catherine while she's writing her PhD.
Yeah.
And upon completion of her PhD, I will receive my very precious copy of it back. But basically, she talks about the theory of objection, which is essentially like a very, very, I'm going to have to keep this short or wait, I'm going to be info dumping for several hours. But basically, it's like the theory of anything that is of the body that is outside the body becomes abject because it invokes a feeling of revulsion in you. So things like blood, viscera, all of that kind of stuff is like abject because it invokes that feeling of like, ugh, this is wrong. And then you can have, like pregnancy is inherently abject. Birth is very abject. And then, you have these things that are like obviously not of the body, but are like socially abject. So anything that exists outside like a heteronormative societal structure is also abject. And it's just like a super interesting theory. Like I wrote about it a lot at uni, particularly when I was looking at like Tracy Emin's artwork. Um, I am like, I can see myself talking about this for like 45 minutes. So I am going to cut myself off. But particularly, read the abject and then come and talk to me about, in particular, Tracy Emin's My Bed and then anything Louise Bourgeois has ever done.
Noted.
It's not an easy book to read though. Like I wouldn't say it's like a
I can imagine it's not an
it's
easy book.
uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable book.
Yeah, I bet.
To read, but it's fucking excellent. Love that book.
Wonderful.
I need to read that again. Anyway, what was your book?
So mine is as this will surprise you not in the slightest. It's a true crime book. It's called Getting Away with Murder by Phil Cleary. It's the story of Julie Ramage, who was murdered by her husband. And it was one of the last...
Australian?
Yes, Melbourne. One of the last cases where defense were able to use provocation to have his murder charge drop down to a manslaughter conviction.
Wait, what?
So the defense were able to prove that she provoked him into killing her, and thereby it was manslaughter, not murder. It is such an infuriating case.
What was the name again?
Getting Away with Murder. There is another book called Silent Death about the same story. I read Getting Away with Murder for uni a few years back and was obsessed with it.
Julie Ramage. Okay. What, in 2003?
In 2003. Yeah. This isn't something that happened in like the 70s. It happened 20 years ago.
What the
I have a copy of this book. You can read it if you like.
Yeah, I would love to.
It's really,
thanks.
really interesting. Like, I will admit, the book is most definitely biased because Phil Cleary, I believe his daughter so his sister was murdered, and then her killer walked free after serving 3 years. So yes, the Ramage case, I'm reading this off of the listing on QBD at the moment. The Ramage case is arguably the one case that forced the law of provocation to be reviewed. It's such it's a very biased read, but it's such a good read. So that would be mine. So Justin, I didn't escape it.
Remember you I remember talking about this.
It's so infuriating. I wrote I think I was going to do talk about it on one of our old podcast iterations. It was a case that I was going to talk about because it's more than just like, it seems like such a cut and dry case, and then the court process is just absolutely fucked. So
that is ridiculous.
Yeah, very good. So that's my answer.
Oh my God. The jury cleared Ramage of murder after accepting Mrs. Ramage provoked him by telling him about her happiness with another man.
She'd been having an affair.
So he killed her out of anger.
Yeah. Literally, she'd gone to his house, gone back to like what was their home because she'd moved out, made lunch. They had lunch. She told him the marriage was over. She was with someone else. She wasn't coming home, and he strangled her and then buried her out in the bush.
Fuck
Yeah. Yeah.
off.
Oh, yeah. And he got away with it.
Yeah, I'd like to borrow that book.
Yes.
I'd like to borrow that book. Thank you. Okay, well,
Oh, now we're on to
that was
Dale.
a
I
good
feel like we could have a whole episode with just Dale's questions.
we really can. Although there's a couple that I think we'll be able to answer quickly. But anyway, so Dale really came through because I messaged him and I said, like, probably like an hour, well, I was going to say 2 hours ago, but like before we started recording, I messaged Dale and I said, we're recording. Do you have any, like, just gave a little prod essentially and was like, do you have any book questions? And bitch, he really came through. It really came through. All right, we should take it in turns reading his questions because he did send quite a lot. All right, I'll start. How did you meet and what made you want to create a podcast together? Well, we covered a bit of how we met in our episode 0,
Yes.
which was we both had blogs on Tumblr about the same band. And then we have seen the band together many times. We went to Melbourne and saw
I think
them.
we've seen them twice together. And then we've both been to shows independently because then I was living up in Queensland.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So
that's how we met. And then we've kind of talked about starting a podcast for many years in different iterations.
yes.
And then when you moved back down here, we were just like, yeah, right, let's just do it. And we booked a recording day, which we both took off of work. And then we bought mics and we were like, all right, let's go.
And here we are.
And here we are, like
3 months later, 4 months later.
3 months later.
Thereabouts.
Yeah, 3 months later. So we're doing it. And also we're like, we just love to yap.
Yeah, we basically went, we can talk for hours and hours and hours. We may as well stick a microphone in front of us and record it and hope that it gets something.
Yeah, and at some point monetize it.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate friendship commitment is when you monetize your friendship.
Business plans. Next question is, what trope can you read over and over again without getting sick of it? What do you wish would be used less, if any? I can read enemies to lovers like all day fucking every day.
Yeah, I was going to say enemies to lovers, but to a point. Like there is a point where for me it's like, is it kind of like enemies to lovers or is it man fuckwit, like genuinely just being a complete and utter asshole and then like them slowly like falling in love, which I don't like. There's a point where it's like, yeah, there's just a point where it's like a bit too far. I do like that. I do like idiots to lovers as well. Where
The
you're kind of just
denial
like,
of them being into each other.
and look, you know, I'm not saying that that ends in a 10-year relationship of personal experience, but it does happen.
I can relate, don't worry. I can relate there with you. I'm right there with you on that.
Look, sometimes you don't realize that you're dating your best friend.
No, exactly. I think with enemies to lovers for me, my issue is when it's like they're enemies for 25% of the book and then they're lovers. I'm like, no, if we're talking enemies to lovers, if it's a standalone, I want them to be getting together at like 75%. If it's a trilogy, I want it to at least be like partway through book 2. Like,
yeah, that would
I
be
can
good,
understand like a little bit of a hookup and then maybe something goes wrong and they hate each other again. And like it sort of goes back and forth a little bit. But like, I don't want any big declarations of love until we're in like at least like well into the second half of the story, whether it's 1 book, 3 books, you know, however many.
You know that, speaking of declarations of love, that the one that you sent me earlier in the week when you declared, when you sent me that declaration from the book you were reading, was that enemies to lovers?
Hang on, what was the line? I have loved you, I have grieved you, and now I am on my knees for you.
Oh my God, delightful.
Not quite. They reluctant allies to lovers. So like they didn't like each other because like he's known as, like, to use the sort of Regency Edwardian-esque era phrase, a rake. So he, you know, he's known for whoring himself around a little bit.
Love that.
But they realize that they kind of have similar goals, so they start to work together somewhat begrudgingly, but they have like really good banter. And then, so that was in the second book, but because they get separated at the end of the first book and then they sort of find their way back to each other. But he's been in a Fey realm and it's been like 2 years, but for her in the human realm, it's only been like 4 months and all this stuff happened. And but that line was just,
that was a good
chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. This is also a spoiler, which is why I'm not saying what book it is. He was told that she had died in the events that happened at the end of the first book, which is why it's like, I loved you and then I grieved you. And now they're sort of working all through all of their drama and he's now on his knees for her. And I was just like, this has got me. I need a man like him.
Another trope that I do enjoy is a slow burn. I do
yeah.
like a slow burn.
But yeah, again,
I
if it's
like
a
a glass of
slow burn, I don't want that spice until, like, the last little bit.
Oh, yeah, make me wait for it.
Yeah. Make me beg
Make
for
me
it.
wait for it. Yeah. Let's do some edging. Let's do some literary edging here. What do you wish would be used less, if any? Like, exactly what I said I just enjoyed, but, like, really toxic enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Like, let's get rid of that, and then also let's get rid of miscommunication. We've talked about this before. I hate a miscommunication trope. It's overdone. It's shit. It just pisses me off every time I
I
read
think
it.
in the right context, it can be good. Like, I think,
Mm,
like, and we're talking like fairly small-ish level miscommunication, like something that's resolved within like the next 3 chapters, you know?
yeah. I think miscommunication stresses me out in real life.
Yeah.
So when I'm reading it, I'm like, I don't want this to be happening.
I shouldn't say I don't like second chance romance because I have read a few books that were second chance and I really enjoyed them. I do very much enjoy fake dating. That's another one I really like. Fake
Mm,
dating's a fun trope. Obviously, we're literally just talking about romance tropes because they're the most prevalent ones.
yeah.
I what do I dislike? Oh, I had it and I've lost it.
Fake dating is good.
Mm. I don't like a cheating trope,
Oh,
but,
nah,
like,
not
I don't
really.
really know anyone
Not for
that
me.
does.
No.
So, other than that, yeah, like, piss poor enemies to lovers is, like, insta love. I hate insta love.
Yeah.
People say they hate
Yeah.
insta lust, and I'm like,
Insta lust makes more
have you
sense
never seen
though.
someone and gone, I would be on my knees for you in a heartbeat? Like, that's the thing,
Yeah.
like, that happens. But the insta love thing,
Yeah.
nah.
Nah. Even in, I have really enjoyed the book, but I thought the, like, Raven and Elspeth getting together, like, the turnaround was really quick with them being like, she's like, oh, I hate all, is they Destriers or whatever?
Yes.
Um, and like her turnaround on him was really, really quick. And I think if I hadn't been enjoying the whole like nightmare cards thing so much, that probably would have pissed me off more. But I was just kind of like, oh, that was pretty quick. But that makes sense.
Yeah,
They're like 20.
they are very young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, you're next.
Have you read a book that was so far out of your normal vibe that it took you by surprise by how much you liked it? What was it and what did you like about
I
it?
just covered this when I talked about The Wax Child.
Yeah, fully.
Like, I could argue the same about Carla, but Carla reads a little bit more like a crime novel, so but The Wax Child is very outside of the norm for me.
So different for you.
So,
Yeah. I it's not super outside, like, as in, like, I read a lot of nonfiction, but I read a nonfiction book about, like, mushrooms and fungi last year. It was called Forest Euphoria: The Abounding Queerness of Nature,
yes, I remember you telling me about
and
that.
the person is a myceliist. I don't know, she's like a
My
they're a fungi doctor. Mycologist, that's the one, and it was talking about, like, all different types of mushrooms and their like inherent queerness and like the general like queerness of nature and everything like that. And it was just like such a good
that sounds
life
really
affirming
cool.
book. It was so good and like just like such a good writing style as well. And yeah, I just really, really loved that book. It was so, so
Mm.
excellent. Also, Empire of Pain a little bit in that like I don't really love to read books about like
Is that the one that Dope Sick was
medical stuff.
is that it?
I thought it was Dope Sick, but it's not Dope Sick, but it is another TV show that I have forgotten the name of again. It's Patrick Radden Keefe book.
Yes.
It is. And it's like I don't really like I don't really read a lot of American books.
Yeah.
And also I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to read a whole bunch of a book on like addiction and everything. Just because it's a bit like a difficult subject for me to read about. Painkiller was what it was called.
Ah, okay.
It was a Netflix 6-part series,
Yeah.
which was focused on Purdue Pharma and Sackler family, who allegedly manufactured the OxyContin epidemic.
I love that every time we've talked about it, yeah, you had to throw in 14 allegedlys. Yes, because they
I don't want to get
yeah,
sued. That family is mega
I was gonna say,
rich.
don't they, like, sue everyone anyway? Probably.
Yeah, they definitely threatened to sue
Allegedly.
Patrick Radden Keefe.
They
Allegedly.
allegedly sue everyone that talks.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Anyway.
Aside from reading, what hobbies do you share? We don't
Uh,
really share that many hobbies. We have We used to have similar
We both
tastes
like
in
to
music.
cook.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we both like to cook. Yeah, we definitely used to have more similar tastes in music, but I think we've just, like, ended up being different people as, like,
Yeah, as our years have
adults.
gone on. Yeah, we definitely both like to cook. We both like having a stroll and bitching about our jobs once a week.
Yes, yeah, you
If you could
yeah,
count that as a
truly.
hobby.
It's not even once a week anymore. It's literally you message me and go, "Do you wanna go for a walk?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll see you downstairs in 2 minutes."
God, yes, I'm on my way.
And we don't work in the same place. We just work, like, near each other,
Across the road.
um, across the road. Delightful, really important to me. Yeah, I guess, like and you like to game and stuff like that, and I'm not a very big
We both like to
gamer. I
we
like to
like to game, but you like board games, tabletop games, and I like video games,
Yeah, yeah,
is the differentiation there.
yeah. I like to do, like, hobbies with my hands. Like, I do lino cuts, I knit, I make silver jewelry, like
Yeah. I like
yeah.
to bake.
Yeah,
I
and
like
you're good
gardening,
at
but
that
I'm
as well.
fucking terrible at it. Like, I would love to maintain a vegetable garden, but bitch, who has the time?
I was actually talking to when I was getting my tattoo on Friday, I was talking to the person doing my tattoo, and she was saying she was talking to me about, like, hay bale gardens. And you essentially, like, just get bales of hay and plant into
Yeah.
them because then it naturally, like, decomposes, and after a couple of years, you just have, like, very rich fertilizer that you've grown vegetables from. Or, like, not fertilizer, compost. Yeah. Which seemed very cool.
I've seen that. I wanna try growing some mushrooms. Legal mushrooms. Legal
Mm.
mushrooms, to
You can
clarify.
get those little, you can get the little kits
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you can
yeah.
just, like, put in your
I'd like to get
kitchen.
one.
Maddie and Henry got them a couple of years ago, and they grew, like, a monster crop of oyster
Yeah,
mushrooms. We were eating good.
I know. I'd like to grow
They
mushrooms.
would be fun. Yeah.
I was successfully growing. I had the teeny tiniest, like it would have been like the size of a 10-cent piece pumpkin.
Oh,
And then my idiot children picked
impressive.
it. I was on the phone to my mother and they come running and go, "Look, we picked the pumpkin." I'm like, "You did what?"
No.
I was crushed. It was the cutest, like, most perfect, and obviously no one listening to this can hear this, but it was like the orange of the inside of my cup here. This
Do you mean see this?
no, yeah, like the perfect orange of the little pumpkin. It was adorable, and they picked it, and
Cute.
I was devastated. And it was only gonna be a dwarf, like, it would have only been about, yay big,
Oh, yeah, like one of the little ones.
little
Yeah,
baby
cute.
one, but yeah. So, yes. But
Devastating.
no, we actually don't share, like, too many hobbies
No.
unless you count sitting and drinking coffee and yapping. A hobby, which
Um,
honestly is probably the one thing we do the most together.
yeah, I mean, we've turned it into a hobby.
Yes, exactly.
My hobby is committing time theft at work and going for coffee with you.
Yeah, I know. I got stuck talking to somebody. I've been gone
Yeah,
for
oh
30
no,
minutes on a
sorry.
coffee run.
I'm out for 45 minutes. I was with a meeting with external stakeholders,
Yeah. Neither
which
of
is a
our
good
jobs
one.
care that much.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyone listening from either of our workplaces, you didn't hear anything.
Yeah, if you work with me, no, you don't. Um, what book moment has stuck with you the most?
I had an answer to this, and this feels like a little bit of a cop out one, but I'm going to use this one because it's one that you'll know. Liam's death in Fourth Wing at the end of the
Mm.
first Fourth Wing book.
Oh, yeah, that
Because his
was
dragon gets
I wasn't expecting
fatally
that.
injured, and, like, the line is, "A dragon can survive without its rider, like, a rider will not live without its dragon," essentially. So his dragon Day is fatally wounded, and then he just dies. Liam just dies as a result, and he, like, dies in everyone's arms, and it's in the middle of this, like, really hectic battle, and
That actually was fucked
it
up.
was so fucked up. Like, I read the book twice because I read it and then I did a reread when Onyx Storm came out, and I fucking sobbed both times. You know what I mean? So, like, that's
Yeah.
a little bit of a cop out answer because, the Fourth Wing series is one of the biggest book series at the moment. So it feels like a little bit of a cop out one. But, like, it really does, like, I mean, if I see any sort of edit about it, I'm just like, "This is rude. Don't talk to me about it." So, yeah. But also another one that's a little bit of a cop out, from Throne of Glass, and I don't know if anyone I know, like, that we know here has read it because I don't think Dale's finished Throne of.
Dale
Has he finished?
Dale hasn't finished reading them. He hasn't finished reading them, but he's reading them.
Kingdom of Ash, Dale, I'm sorry. There is a scene with the 13 that will have you weeping
Okay.
because I wept
Great.
the entire, and I listened to that bit on audio and it just
Oh,
made it
Jesus.
so much worse, honestly. So yes, those. They're
Uh,
the 2 that I off the top of my head.
it's probably a cop out for me as well, but, like, the end of Normal People, where, like, Connell decides to leave and go to America was, like, devastating.
Mm.
I felt physically ill while reading that book, like, just absolutely bawling my fucking eyes out.
Hello.
Was like my computer's like saying that it has no ability connect to Wi-Fi,
Oh, good.
and now it just keeps saying that I need to restart my network adapter and my driver.
Oh, gross. Can you
You
still
can do it
see my
tomorrow.
screen share?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. We're gonna
My
respin
sound is probably
after
going to be horrible.
I'm gonna have to get that royalty-free, like, technical difficulty music to put in here
Hmm.
just for funsies,
Absolutely.
'cause that was crazy. Alright. First the second one we spun was genre switch, and I was like, "I'm not doing that again."
We've done genre switch. Okay.
We very recently, so we will spin for the 3rd time and hope we get something.
Talk lucky.
Yeah. Oh!
Book rewind.
So that is either reading, like, a book from the year we were born or, like, an older book maybe. It was kind of like my loose interpretation of it. Like, we could read a look, we could find books from the year we were born and pick one to
Yeah, we
read.
could do you were born.
Doesn't have to be the same one either. We can pick completely different books. So, yeah?
Yeah, let's do book rewind from the year we were born.
Alright. Alright, sounds
That sounds
good.
good.
We will up Yeah, I think we update everyone on the next episode on what we've picked because that's gonna take some time
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
to research,
research.
so but yes. So we are going to be reading a book from the year we were born, which is Gag 1992.
You're younger than me.
By, like, 2 whole months.
Yeah. But still, I'm 34 on Thursday.
Yes, and I'm 34 in, like, 8 weeks.
Yeah, horrifying.
Disgusting.
Truly horrifying. Aging is a prison.
We will update you guys in the next episode and tell you which books we're reading. I'm gonna put one caveat in there, neither of us is allowed to reread The Secret History.
God damn it.
Yeah. Because we've both read that. Like, we both read it, we know it comes out, we know it was released the year we were born. We can't read that. That's the caveat.
Fine. I'll find something
Alright, we
else to
will
read.
yeah, I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, there'll be
Okay,
something. Oh,
so now that that
that
has
was a
been this that was a wild ride. I've technically been recording for 2.5 hours because we've just had 15 minutes of technical trouble. But
useless
that's fine.
computer.
That is
That's
fine.
fine. It's all good.
Have fun fixing
We
that.
will get Yeah, I will. I don't know what that is, and I'm gonna ask Justin if he can help me fix it.
Sounds like a plan.
I
Alright,
will.
with that,
Okay.
we will see you guys in 2 weeks' time.
For the next episode. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.